best mom ever and gave it to her the day the adoption was finalized. She cried happy tears and hung it on our refrigerator. It's still there today. The years passed with no contact from Vanessa. Connor grew from a little boy into a tween. He started middle school. He joined the robotics club and the school band. He had his first crush. Rachel was there for all of it. She helped him navigate friend drama and school stress. She talked to him about his changing body and growing independence. She was the parent he turned to for everything. Update 2. Connor had just turned 12 when Vanessa reappeared. I got an email from her saying she wanted to talk about seeing Connor. She said she had been working on herself and was in a better place now. She said she was ready to be a mother and wanted to establish a relationship with her son. She asked if we could set up a meeting to discuss visitation. I was immediately protective. Connor had a stable, happy life. He had a mother who had been there for him since he was 4 years old. Vanessa had been absent for 11 years except for random gifts. I didn't want her disrupting his life because she suddenly decided she was ready to be a parent. I consulted with our family lawyer about my obligations. The lawyer said that since Vanessa had terminated her parental rights during Rachel's adoption, she had no legal standing for custody or visitation. She was legally no different than a stranger to Connor. I didn't have to let her see him unless he wanted to meet her. I told the lawyer I would talk to Connor first before making any decisions. Rachel and I sat down with Connor to tell him that his birth mother wanted to meet him. His immediate reaction was confusion. He asked why she wanted to meet him now after so many years. I said I didn't know but that it was his choice whether to meet her or not. He asked if Rachel was still his mom. Rachel said of course she was and nothing would change that. She said this was about Connor having information about his biological history if he wanted it. Connor thought about it for a few days. He asked me questions about Vanessa. What did she look like? What did she do for work? Why did she leave? I answered honestly but carefully. I didn't want to poison him against her, but I also wasn't going to lie about her abandonment. I told him she had been very young and unsure about motherhood. I told him she thought she needed to pursue her career. I told him she made a choice that hurt us but that adults sometimes make mistakes. Connor decided he didn't want to meet Vanessa. He said Rachel was his mom and he didn't need another one. He said it seemed weird to meet someone who was basically a stranger just because she had given birth to him. He said if Vanessa had wanted to be his mom, she should have been around when he was growing up. I told him I supported his decision and would let Vanessa know. I emailed Vanessa back saying that Connor didn't want to meet her. I explained that he had a mother who had raised him and he wasn't interested in developing a relationship with someone he didn't know. Vanessa responded angrily. She said I had turned Connor against her. She said I had no right to keep her from her son. I forwarded her the adoption papers showing she had terminated her parental rights. I reminded her that Connor was 12 and had his own opinions. Vanessa threatened to take legal action. She said the adoption shouldn't count because she had been coerced. She said she was going to fight for custody or at minimum visitation rights. I told her to do whatever she needed to do but that she wouldn't win. Our lawyer confirmed that her case was essentially hopeless. She had voluntarily terminated her rights and there was extensive documentation of her absence over 11 years. Despite having no legal standing, Vanessa showed up at Connor's school one day. She had somehow found out where he went to school and what time he got out. She was waiting by the main entrance when school dismissed. Connor didn't recognize her. Rachel was there to pick him up like she did every day. Vanessa approached them calling Connor by name. Rachel immediately stepped between Vanessa and Connor. She told Connor to go wait by the car. Connor was confused but listened. Rachel asked Vanessa who she was. Vanessa said she was Connor's mother. Rachel said no, she was Connor's mother and Vanessa needed to leave. Vanessa started crying and saying she just wanted to see her son. Rachel called me while keeping herself between Vanessa and Connor. I was at work but I left immediately. I called the school principal on the way to alert them to the situation. By the time I got there, the principal had come outside and asked Vanessa to leave school property. Vanessa was sobbing and saying this was all my fault. She said I had stolen her son and turned him against her. The principal said if she didn't leave, they would call the police. Vanessa finally left but not before yelling that she would be back. Connor was shaken by the incident. He had never seen anyone that emotionally out of control. Rachel and I took him home and explained who Vanessa was. Connor said she seemed crazy. I said she wasn't crazy but she was very upset and handling things badly. Connor said he definitely didn't want to meet her now. He said Rachel was the only mom he needed and Vanessa showing up at school was scary. We filed for a restraining order the next day. We documented the school incident and provided evidence of Vanessa's 11-year absence. The judge granted a temporary restraining order requiring Vanessa to stay away from Connor, our home, and his school. Vanessa was served with the order at Lauren's apartment where she was apparently staying. Vanessa violated the restraining order 2 weeks later. She showed up at one of Connor's soccer games. She stood near the field watching him play. Rachel saw her first and immediately got me. We approached Vanessa and told her she was violating the restraining order. She said she was just watching from a public park and that should be allowed. I called the police right there. The police arrived and arrested Vanessa for violating the restraining order. Connor watched his birth mother being led away in handcuffs. He was crying and asking why this was happening. His teammates and their parents were all witnesses. It was traumatic and humiliating for Connor. That night he told us he hated Vanessa for ruining his soccer game and embarrassing him in front of everyone. Vanessa spent a night in jail and had to go to court for the restraining order violation. The judge extended the order for a full year and told Vanessa that any further violations would result in more serious charges. Vanessa's lawyer tried to argue that she was just trying to see her child, but the judge said she had no parental rights and needed to stop harassing the family. Update 3. After the court hearing and jail time, Vanessa finally seemed to understand she had no path to Connor. She stopped trying to contact us directly. But she started posting on social media about being a mother who had her child stolen from her. She shared articles about parental alienation and fathers who turn children against mothers. She positioned herself as a victim who was being kept from her son by a vengeful ex-husband. Lauren supported Vanessa's narrative online. She posted about how society punishes women who want to have careers and how motherhood is used to trap women. She said Vanessa had been forced to give up her rights under duress. She claimed I had manipulated the situation to keep Connor from his real mother. None of it was true, but they had convinced themselves of this version of events. Some people who didn't know the full story believed them. Vanessa got sympathy from online groups for mothers fighting for custody. She left out the part about abandoning Connor at 8 months old. She left out the 11 years of minimal contact. She left out choosing to terminate her rights. She just focused on being kept from her son now and painted herself as the wrong party. Rachel found the social media posts when someone sent her a screenshot. We debated whether to respond publicly but decided against it. We didn't want to give Vanessa more attention or drag Connor into online drama. We focused on protecting our family and letting Vanessa's narrative exist in her own bubble. People who actually knew us knew the truth. Connor asked to read what Vanessa was posting. We were hesitant but decided he was old enough to see it. He read through her posts and looked at us in disbelief. He said none of it was true. He said he remembered his whole life and Rachel had always been there. He said Vanessa was lying to make herself feel better about abandoning him. His clarity about the situation made us realize he was going to be okay. The school was informed about the situation and had Vanessa's photo on file. Security was alerted to watch for her during pickup times. Connor's teachers knew not to release him to anyone except Rachel or me. We took every precaution to keep him safe. The restraining order was in place for a year and we were prepared to renew it if necessary. Vanessa's life seemed to be falling apart based on what we could piece together from mutual connections. Her modeling career had completely fizzled out. She was working as a hostess at a restaurant. She was living with Lauren in a cramped apartment. She was 39 years old with no partner, no career, and no relationship with her son. The choices she made 11 years ago had led her to a very lonely place. Meanwhile, our family was thriving. Connor was doing well in school and had great friends. Rachel was up for a promotion to assistant principal at her school. I had been promoted to senior manager at my firm. We had bought a bigger house in a good school district. We took family vacations and had weekly game nights. We were happy and stable and close. Everything Vanessa had walked away from had grown into something beautiful without her. Connor's 13th birthday was a few months after all the drama with Vanessa. We threw him a party with his friends and both sets of grandparents. Rachel made his favorite cake and we gave him the gaming system he had been wanting. It was a great day full of laughter and celebration. Not once did Connor mention Vanessa or seem sad about her absence. Rachel was the mom on his birthday cake photos. Rachel was the one he hugged and thanked. I got one final email from Vanessa after Connor's birthday. She had seen photos on social media from relatives who had attended the party. She said it hurt to see her son celebrating without her. She said she understood now that she had made mistakes. She said she regretted leaving and wished she could go back and make different choices. She asked if there would ever be a chance for her to know Connor. I showed the email to Rachel before responding. She said it was ultimately Connor's decision whether he ever wanted contact with Vanessa. She said she would support whatever he decided when he was old enough to fully choose for himself. She said she wasn't threatened by Vanessa because Connor knew who his real mother was. I responded to Vanessa and said that Connor was happy and settled and didn't want contact with her now. I said maybe when he was older and could make a fully informed decision, she could reach out again. But for now, she needed to respect his wishes and stay away. I said I hoped she found peace and built a good life for herself. I wished her well but made it clear that our family was complete without her. Vanessa didn't respond to that email. The restraining order expired and she didn't violate it again. She seemed to have finally accepted that she couldn't force her way into Connor's life. Her social media posts about being a wronged mother eventually stopped. She moved on to posting about other things and seemed to be trying to build a life that didn't revolve around the son she abandoned. Connor is 15 now. He's thriving as a teenager with all the typical ups and downs. Rachel is the one who helps him with girlfriend advice and driving practice. She's the one he calls when he needs to be picked up from a friend's house. She's the one he thanks in his speech when he wins an award at school. She earned the title of mom through years of showing up when no one else would. I think about Vanessa sometimes and feel sad for her. She let her sister convince her that motherhood was a trap when it's actually one of life's greatest joys. She walked away from an incredible kid because she thought she was missing out on something better. She spent 11 years pursuing a modeling career that never happened while Connor grew up without her. Now she's facing middle age alone while the family she abandoned has flourished. The irony is that everything Lauren told Vanessa about motherhood destroying potential was wrong. Rachel has an amazing career and is a wonderful mother. She didn't have to choose between the two. Vanessa could have had it all if she had just been willing to put in the work and ignore her sister's toxic advice. Instead, she chose to believe that her baby was holding her back and she ended up with nothing. Connor knows his birth story. He knows Vanessa left when he was a baby and why. He knows she tried to come back when he was 12. He knows we protected him from her chaos. And he knows that Rachel chose to be his mother and has been there for every important moment of his life. That knowledge has made him confident and secure. He doesn't feel abandoned because he has a mother who has proven her commitment every single day. I don't know if Connor will ever want to meet Vanessa. That's his choice to make when he's ready. We've kept all her cards and gifts in case he ever wants to see them. We've saved documentation of everything that happened so he can understand the full story someday. But we've also made it clear that Rachel is his mother in every way that matters and nothing will change that. The best revenge wasn't anything I did to Vanessa. The best revenge was building a happy, healthy family without her. It was watching Connor thrive with a mother who actually wanted to be there. It was seeing Rachel get every first day of school photo and sports trophy and graduation milestone that Vanessa gave up. Vanessa came back demanding custody and found that she had been replaced by someone who actually showed up. That realization, that she could have had all of this if she had just stayed, is punishment enough.